So today we are doing the Healthy You Conference, Find Health and Life Balance with Qigong and other techniques. So it's just beautiful. We have our lovely teacher of the school, Mike Popovici. He is a Qigong instructor, Fa Qi Si practitioner, which means doing energy healing work of the Qi. So crystal healer, life activation practitioner. He believes very passionately that everyone can find a balance between professional paths we've chosen for ourselves, our lives and family, and the personal peace and growth we seek. So we are learning to tune in, I guess, spiritually a bit with Mike today, in I guess the professional manner. So I guess you must have all kinds of tips for us today. You can see that I don't read the script as it is, right? Because I just go with my feelings. So Mike's looking at me, gee, that's not what we
No,
put down,
there's
isn't it?
never a script. There's never a script. It's always about whatever comes out and what needs to come through for the people watching. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I feel it actually really helped me when I do my class is to understand how the engineer thinks, right? So I find engineers really challenging students. They ask you all kinds of questions, really. What else do you have asked? So I got used to dealing with engineers. Mind you, one time there are 4 in the same room, 4 of them. Oh my God, they came in the same room, they're all engineers. So, well, my son-in-law is engineer too. So he's not interested in my Qigong, which is fine.
Yeah.
I know. So he's young, he's no interest, absolutely no interest. But then let me help the audience. So how does the engineer think?
Well, engineer, it's an interesting question. Engineer, it's logic. It's proof and evidence. It is the physical world around us and understanding the theories and it's engineering is science applied in practical means. So you take science and the particle theory, all those theories that everybody comes up with, and the engineers take those and make them to practical things, into airplanes, into buildings, into everything that comes along. So it's all about proof. Engineers want proof. And engineers are very naturally very inquisitive. It's not just engineers, but
just focus on engineers.
Okay, we'll focus on engineers
first.
We
love we want to learn how to communicate nicely.
With engineers.
Exactly. So.
Okay, well with engineers, yeah, and this will apply to anybody out there that is logical based and logical in thinking, professionals, whoever it might be.
Yes.
Well, it's really about proof. It's about questioning to make sure that is this real or not? I mean, are you pulling the wool over my eyes or not? Engineers are very much about evidence, and so it's one of those, because these practices, especially energy practices, meditation has a lot more science growing behind it, right? And energy is starting to slowly. I mean, it's been happening since the 60s. There's been science and evidence proving that our body heals with certain frequencies of energy. Our fascia operates at a certain frequency. So our body is frequency. We all know that, but there hasn't been mainstream evidence given out there. And so the engineers will always say, wait a second, you got to prove this to me. So they're going to ask you questions over it. I mean,
there's a lot of research paper online. Actually, it has a whole website. The Qigong Institute actually has thousands of official research medical journal there. But not everyone have interest to read it though. But then the thing is,
well, I don't know if you said I'm an engineer, by the way, but that's why Master Teresa.
You
did. I
did. And I guess you were in the Qi.
Yeah, maybe I was.
Qi means there, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, human being is here. So when you keep going there, you just don't know what you.
I'm a little bit in both.
Listening or hearing, because you just move here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when we are in the meditative mode, we are ordinary person. Try to move up the ladder to a peaceful spot. And as we keep moving on healing, we keep moving up. And sometimes when we come back, then we forget about time. Okay. So sometimes we don't know time, or we only know what is now. That's what the present moment is, right? Yeah, carry on, my dear. What's next? You want to tell us?
Yeah, well, see, the thing is with most people is that they're actually, they will always try to pay attention to see what's going on. So a lot of people, especially if you're more in the logical side, you're going to want that proof of what's happening. So you're not, as you're meditating, you're always kind of paying attention. You're always analyzing what's happening.
Analyzing what's in the meditation.
Analyzing what's in the meditation, right?
Okay,
So you're always
that's
kind of
good.
here, but that's not what you want to do anyways, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to analyze meditation.
No, you're not. You're not.
So you won't get anywhere if you do that.
No, exactly.
Exactly. So the fun part of so what's the incentive for the engineer to explore energy work like Qigong? Can you?
That yeah.
Well,
So
I always have a reason to. So why did you start Qigong, right?
why did I start? Okay.
Yeah. So that may be fun.
Unfortunately unfortunately or fortunately, there's always something that triggers you or a reason,
Yeah.
right? And for me, it was the same reason that applies to a lot of people, especially when they come out of the professional world or just in regular life. Something goes wrong in life, and you need to find a way to heal that within yourself, right? So that's
Yeah.
what it was. So for me, it was my healing journey. I ended up, I grew up very logical, very science-based. At the same time, there's always a little bit of
Your
spirituality.
father is engineer
My
too.
father's an engineer. My mother's an engineer. Grew up.
Really? Mother too?
Yeah, both engineers.
My
yeah,
goodness,
yeah. My
you
mother.
are logical.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
So-
you know, I didn't know what else to become. I became an engineer.
You just have to be an
And
engineer.
I was good with math and sciences, and a lot of us that we came up in that world, somebody told us engineers can make good money, so we became engineers. And then in the
Oh,
end,
yes.
something happens.
Oh, okay.
And for me, it was, I'm a the type A personality. I loved getting stuff done and working really hard, and I was just enjoying the fired up life. I was basically, working hard, playing hard, doing the whole thing
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
But I didn't realize that I was carrying a whole bunch of things inside of me. All these things that I'd experienced growing up. We all have them, right? And so for me, it was growing up and carrying all these things that all of a sudden started coming to the surface. Things that I had suppressed, hurt, whatever it might be. And it all came out through relationships with people, intimate relationships or just friend relationships. But it was always a stress in my life, and I stressed myself out to the limits, playing hard and working hard. Then I had all these other things underneath that were boiling up. I didn't even realize were happening and moving me.
Mhm.
It was like the perfect storm
Yeah, that's great.
of things clashing.
See?
So when I
That's
exhausted
great.
myself, and so no longer had the
Yes.
energy to handle the stuff that
Yes.
was underneath, all of a
Yes.
sudden I had no choice because everything came spewing out. And it was all I could do not to fall apart. It was basically what it was.
Maybe let me help the audience a little bit, because Mike has a lot of information to share. So just make it easier for some people who don't have any knowledge. Is like when you're going through life, then you just work, make a living, and etc. Having fun. So sometimes we're not aware the times that we felt terrible. At times we're not perfect, right? And those are what he said about things coming out. So the things coming out is difficult feelings. That's what he said. Or it could be diseases, sickness, etc. And then sometimes we get lost about, oh, that's the things I have to work on. So we have no realization they are things to improve. That's what Mike is trying to explain to you, is why he is just being an ordinary professional engineer. He's not aware of things that need to be improved in his life besides just work and make a living. So through the relationship, then he just realized there's a lot more about life that he wants to do about himself.
It was, essentially. That's very well put, Master Teresa.
Yeah, thank you.
But it was actually, it's not that I didn't realize, and most of us don't realize.
You realize a lot because it has been.
I realized because I came
Yes.
to that moment of there was no other option.
Oh no! Oh, you go to the
Yeah.
wall and
I hit the wall, and I hit the wall
Great.
the
So,
third
you know,
time. By the time I came to you, it was the
exactly.
third time I hit the wall.
So that's beautiful. Hey, audience, something you have to hit the wall to know how to change.
But this is what I don't want for the audience. I don't want the audience to hit the wall.
We don't want you to
No.
hit the wall.
The thing is,
that's why we're doing the conference.
That's what we could do in the conference.
Okay,
It's
got it.
because I want the audience to be able to realize these
Yeah.
things before they hit the wall,
Yeah.
while they still have everything intact around their lives and their lives aren't falling apart.
Yeah,
right?
the way you are talking, like when you hit the wall, is really rock bottom, right?
It was close enough to it. I mean, there are 3 times, and
Yeah.
one of them I looked in the mirror at one point, and I couldn't I didn't know who the person was looking back at me.
Oh.
And I was walking around on the street, empty.
Yeah,
It was like a silent movie.
Oh,
I could
okay.
see everybody interacting and life moving,
Yeah.
but I was in this dead zone where I wasn't connected to anything around me.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first time.
Okay. A
That
bit
was-
psychotic or something, right?
No, I'm not psychotic. No,
No, it sounds like that.
No, but I'm sure psychologists or psychiatrists out there might have a term for what I experienced. But it
well, I
was
can't find it.
very much like a whole sort of like crashing of my my personality, I guess you can say, not my individuality, but my personality. It was a complete numbing. So
Yeah.
that was the first
Oh.
time. It was the first time. So then I worked myself out of that.
That's good. I like the way you say it, all numbed.
Yeah, it was all numbed.
That's good. So, and the second time?
So the second time, it was not nearly as bad, but I started stressing. I decided at work that I was going to put everything aside because I wanted to get certain things done.
Okay.
And I put everything aside so much so, and I worked so hard and so long that I had another crash, a few months into it, very little sleep, and having pushed aside my social life,
okay.
deciding that,
Yeah.
I wanted to get this done. I was so
Yeah,
fired up
many
about
people do that actually.
They do. They
Yeah,
work those
it's
80-hour
common.
weeks, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
crash and they fall apart, right?
So when you crash, how did it feel?
It wasn't easy. It was,
What, you lost energy or you feel depressed? What was the crash?
I didn't have, it was anger for me.
Anger.
It was anger for me. I didn't have the
anger.
energy. I didn't realize that I was actually using energy or mental energy to suppress all the stuff I had,
Oh.
hiding underneath in the shadows, right?
So that you can work.
So that I can work and I can do everything. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm so tired,
Yeah.
I have no more energy to suppress it. So it was a lot of anger that came up from all the experiences I had.
Oh, because you cannot control the difficult feelings anymore.
That's
Is that
right.
how
Yeah.
it is?
That was pretty much it.
So-
I was controlling it.
So you're not numb this time. So
No,
how,
ma'am,
how
this
would,
time I'm not
how
numb.
would we describe this time?
This time it's more of just entirely exhausted and barely holding on to.
Just angry.
Well, just anger
I guess
coming
it's
up,
just
yeah.
lots of anger.
Lots
It's
of
just
anger.
Angry.
And all you're doing, your entire effort.
It's almost if you have a knife, then you might kill people.
No, you will not do that. No.
I'm just having fun with the audience.
I know,
So it's almost
I know.
angry, right?
No, but you're angry. You're angry
So-
to the point it almost
Okay.
feels like you're almost dealing with the traumas of the past. But you're angry. You're so angry, and it
Angry
takes
with yourself.
angry with everything. You
Oh,
don't even know
anything.
that you're angry with yourself. It's
Oh,
everything that
okay.
comes up and makes you angry.
You're just angry. Okay.
All right, because of all the anger that is suppressed inside of you and it's coming up. And so now all you're spending.
Wait for a minute. So how many years ago is your what?
That was
is
when
this?
I decided. No, I hadn't decided to come to you yet. So this was about eight years ago.
Oh, I'll talk about 8 years back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third time?
The third time, and so yeah, for the second time, it was I spent all of my energy trying not to be angry.
Yeah.
So then I fixed that. It was all
Oh.
about affirmations and all
okay,
of those things,
okay.
helping myself kind of feel, reintroduce the feeling of feeling good, right?
Oh,
And this is
okay.
where affirmations are important just on a
Yeah.
day-to-day to maintain your energy level if you're really stressed. Because part of what I want to talk about today is how to stay, and how people can, what they can do to help themselves be successful and still find that opportunity for their own self-balance. Right?
Okay.
Because, and you're right, because all the history I've had, I kind of have a little experience on how to work
Yeah.
through that. Now, the third time was when I finally said I needed Qigong. And it was because I had seen my father do Qigong. And I had another healer who was also now that was healing me, that was practicing Qigong. And at the time, I'm an engineer. I am still pretty young.
Still young.
Still young. My idea of getting over it was going to work out, playing rugby or something along those lines. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
the rugby player, fit, and I still love all that stuff, but I've learned to add
How come you don't
energy.
talk about women, eh?
I was about to in a second. Because you asked me about the third
I
time.
can see, when you're young, it's supposed to be around
yeah.
relationship.
Oh.
I guess that's not
was-
not one of the 1, 2, 3.
No, that was the party hard. That was the party hard. That was all the aspect of the party
So we'll
hard.
leave the party
Yeah,
out. So we'll talk
exactly.
about party another day.
So the third time was actually because of a girlfriend.
Okay.
And what that did is, she, everybody that has come into my life are beautiful people. incredible
Yeah.
people. We all have, and I'm sure I've been this person to other people in one way or another, hopefully much less so than what I've experienced, but we've all brought our own things that we needed to resolve. And this person had a lot within her life. And so what that did though, and everything that surrounded her, exposed me again to all the stuff that subconsciously was my triggers.
Yes.
All the triggers that I ever had were exposed, having dated this
This lovely soul.
this lovely soul that was herself caught
Yeah.
up in things that she had to resolve.
So you're over that now, right?
Well, so that ended. That ended. It ended.
Yeah, beautifully.
But it ended very. You know what? We need to split because this is not healthy. In a good way, because I needed to make sure that I could heal.
Oh, you are healing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was.
Anyways.
Anyway, so it was. She
So
had
that's
to
the
deal
third
with her stuff.
time?
I had to deal with my stuff. The third time, but that time, what happened was
Yeah.
all the coping mechanisms that I had, all of a sudden, started to unravel. So
Oh,
all the
okay,
masks
good.
that I was wearing, all the things that I was using to counter, like for instance, we don't realize what we do throughout our lives, but
Yeah, exactly.
we have experiences, and then our subconscious says, okay, when this happens from now on, I'm going to act like this, or I'm going to behave
Exactly.
like this.
So
All those little
yeah,
formulas
That's right.
fell apart.
So this is beautiful to experience life, and then that's how one becomes the healer. It's going through enough stuff in your life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how healers, we do have a lot of things before, right? If not, you don't, would say, don't refine you to the person that you want to be.
Absolutely.
So this is a beautiful journey, and then what do you want to share next now?
Well, it's
Now you have the 1, 2, 3, and
yeah. So now.
so what you working on now, maybe?
Well, now it's I'm working on a lot of one-on-one with people,
Okay.
helping them break through whatever they need to break through on in their lives, whether they're
Yeah.
having personal blocks where you know for some reason things always happen to me in one way or another, or like
Yeah.
they always come to me like, Mike, I can't break through on these things, or I'm
Yes.
having
Yes.
I can't get over certain things that happen in my life, and we start to work through the real underlying things that cause
so
all
those are more the things, it seems that more like life coaching sort of things.
Yeah.
So what about people are not well, right? So big part of Qigong is helping people to recover physically, emotionally, and now for me it's tapping into balancing the emotions a big time now. So that there are all kinds of clients, right? So you do healing on physical stuff too?
Absolutely, I do healing physically. I've done some remote healing as well. I do various a whole bunch of different kinds of practices that really tie in very well, but with Qigong being one of them. And Qigong offers so much. People always ask me, what is Qigong? I really have to find out what their needs are to help them understand, because it's a foundational thing that applies to everything: emotional balance,
Yeah.
physical balance, life balance.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you could maybe you conclude a few things that help people to understand why you put so much energy to learn how to move energy, the Qi with me. They always the drive, they want to keep driving you to learn more. I know when I first met you, if you don't mind, it's in the workshop you had a severe headache.
Yes, yeah, very bad
it was
headaches.
Huge.
Yeah, I couldn't move.
That's how it started.
It was a 2-day workshop, and on the second day I had a migraine, one of my famous migraines. I used to get them a lot. I used to get them a lot.
Oh my God.
Where I can't move, I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't move. I can eat salad, pretty much it. But it was what I've learned.
How many years have you had migraine?
Oh, I've had them since I was 16. But
16 to now. Okay.
actually, they ended about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't get them anymore. I get
So
them.
you see, so I guess the audience, the engineer mind, right? So the proof, right? So I guess after some years of Qigong, the migraine from what, 6 years old?
16.
16? Oh my God, 16.
Or younger, actually. Around when you start to really get your growth spurts, I used to get them a lot.
Exactly. And then he handled the migraine so well that it disappeared, and then you, I guess the people can find out how did the Qi move the migraine out of the body? That could be a real nice a package, even just work on clearing migraine with Mike, right?
It could
I
be
think that's good, a good thing.
Well, if you don't mind, actually, maybe I'd love to give them some insights, maybe, or some inputs
Well,
on what they can do for themselves. A little bit, or
Absolutely,
how it all
we are
ties
here
together.
to listen, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can we learn more from Mike?
Well, obviously, if you want to reach out to me, you can. I'm, Instagram, Facebook, Phoenix IAA on Facebook, and
okay.
Mike _ Phoenix Internal Arts in Instagram. But there's everything that we have going on within our body is related to some sort of stress. So when I say everything, I mean the things that we need to overcome is related to some sort of stress, whether it's an old stress
Yeah.
or current stress.
Thank
Usually
you.
it's kind of both at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we mentioned earlier in our conversation how science has shown that our body responds to frequencies of energy,
Yeah.
right? So the physical parts of our body, bones regenerate at certain frequencies of energy, muscle regenerates at certain frequencies of energy, your brain operates at certain frequencies of energy. And so on that perspective alone, Qi from Qi Gong, what you're doing is you're creating those frequencies of energy in your body as you practice.
Yeah, Qi is actually measurable with scientific tools. So there are books on it. There are lots of research. Many people wrote books on it too. So they all frequency. So and
Yeah.
continue.
So
Please.
yeah, absolutely. So and from that perspective, you know how Qigong helps is Qigong is ancient. It's 3,000 years old at least, right? Coming out from China, it ties into a lot of the Vedic practices as well. But the premise of Qigong primarily is to work with Qi, is to teach you how to open up the channels of Qi within your own body, and actually Qi or energy or prana, whatever, whichever way you want to call it, universal energy. We all know there's energy all around us. The heat in the air
Yeah.
is energy.
Exactly.
Our nervous system operates off of energy and electrical signals. So our whole body is one big energetic receiver transmitter. Qigong, they've developed simple forms to be able to tap into the energy around you. You can actually do this. And this is, I've taught this at corporate settings where they come out of it, if they're tired, they're feeling awake, they're energized, but they're calm energized. It's not like having a shot of coffee. It's you're calm and you're.
I like that.
Yeah, it's you're calm and it's like you're in your most full,
We
clear
call
minded.
them at peace.
Yes.
Just feel peaceful. That's it.
But see, a lot of people when they think peaceful.
Energizing but peaceful.
Exactly, because
But then sometimes we feel tired practicing Qigong too.
it
It's
depends on
just
what
want to
you.
cover some audience. Not everyone want more energy. Some people really felt they had too much.
Yeah, some people actually might feel tired because
Yeah.
your body might be saying, okay, now that you give me some energy,
Yeah.
I need to heal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of the state, when we operate day to day, most of us operate in a state of stress. And that state is the sympathetic nervous system constantly functioning. All right, but our body can't operate in stress and in a healing mode at the same time.
Yeah.
Physiologically, it's not possible.
Yeah, this is actually science.
This
Yeah.
is science.
Okay.
Right? It's not possible. So when
Yeah.
we're trying to eat while we're stressed or while we're in a rush, our body is actually not giving the energy it needs to digestion. So we're not extracting the nutrients. That's one example. Or we're not sleeping completely because our mind isn't shutting down properly.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. All good.
And so when we do Qigong, our body switches from that sympathetic to what's called the parasympathetic, the relaxed state. The state where your body is designed to be in when it needs to rest, relax, digest, and heal. Okay? And that's why some people feel tired after they perform Qigong, because they're so in that stress mode. The moment they practice it, they calm down so much that their body goes, all right, now that you've let me relax, it's time to go to bed. Right? So it's really your body will actually show to you your true state.
But that may not help the audience because they might scared about going to bed because they have no time. Might get fired from work.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so maybe we talk in a different way. So when you are very stressed and I feel very tired, so what you do is you don't do Qigong too long. You do shorter Qigong.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will actually regenerate your energy and you won't feel tired. Depends if
Yes.
you do it very long. If you do a longer practice, sometimes you might need to sleep because you switch your body to the healing mode really intensively. But you do short practice, then it won't feel this way.
Actually, and that's very good. And actually,
exactly.
And
I'm
that's,
a teacher.
Yeah, she is. And so am I. But like I said, there's so
That's
much
awesome.
to Qigong that you have to really walk
Exactly.
people through this understanding.
No, exactly.
And that's also why I'm
Yes.
I'm creating an online Qigong course.
Awesome! Congratulations.
Well, it's going to be 10 videos, so once a week, 10 minutes per. So on your breaks, and it's just that perfect length of time
Yes.
to recharge without switching into a tired state, but actually being in a refreshed state.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, and it's actually using the forms that, that you've taught me as well. So
Wow,
you
I know.
take that and shorten
Thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
Well, we just really excited to learn from you because with the engineering mind to looking for proof, so the way I'm sure he delivered the, this online will be done in a way, at least will solve the some of the mindset of the engineers, right?
Well, actually, what it's going to do is it's not even going to do it too. I'm not even addressing specific
I know, I'm
mindsets
just
of
me,
engineers.
really,
I
so
know, I know.
I just find engineers are really stressful. They give me so much stress trying to ask for proof. But I do have scientists, they're actually easier. So engineers somehow is more stressful than even scientists.
Because engineers really disbelieve
Oh, they
until
really
you show them.
difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Science will go, okay, that's
Scientists is
abstract.
okay.
Let me go and solve it with new
Yeah,
theories.
yeah.
Engineers go, no. This hasn't been
it's
proven
just-
yet. So
Yeah, I just find talking to engineer need more blood.
But
blood
I think
to
this
do.
is where I
Just love
really
it.
help people, is because not only was I an engineer, I left my job to be able
Yeah.
to do this full time.
Yeah.
I was actually a manager. I managed people.
Yeah.
At one point, I had a group of a team
Yeah.
of 30 plus people under me, working in manufacturing, high stress. I was doing supporting quality across the entire manufacturing floor, on all the production lines, and with my team, and so I have that. I have the corporate experience, and at the same time, I do have that spiritual side as well. So this is where people have found really a positive aspect of relating to me, regardless of where they're coming from, because they're spiritual I can relate to, the practical business I can
we
relate
just
to.
like Mike.
I love to bridge them in whatever ways makes
I
sense for the
know.
person, right?
Yeah.
So the videos are really aimed. The only premise of the video is that number one is you have an opportunity to relax and reset. It's relax, reset, revitalize. And then at the same time, if you always wanted to understand mindfulness a little bit, understand Qigong, experience Qigong,
Oh, by
learn
the way.
Qigong, yes.
By the way, I want to help the audience. So sometimes I describe Qigong as mindful meditation with movements.
Yes.
It actually works.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a very mindful doing Qigong really. But then the mindful, the word, they got it right, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically is mindful movement meditation.
Exactly.
But it incorporates everything. It
Yeah.
incorporates movement, breath, and intention.
Yeah.
And all those things together is what creates Qigong. Otherwise, you have a good workout or a nice stretch, but you don't have
Oh.
Qigong, right?
Maybe you can have those people doing yoga, right? Because you
Yeah.
also do a lot of yoga practices.
Well, I teach at a yoga studio.
Yeah, exactly. So
Qigong.
how can
I
we
teach
help
Qigong
the
at a yoga
people,
studio.
in the yoga energy to understand the benefit of Qigong to their life, or the people doing Reiki? It would be just add a.
Well, let's get back to, we'll get back to that. We'll keep them in suspense a little bit. But
Thank
I just
you.
wanted to get into it and really help people understand the course, because I think it's going to be so beneficial. I know it's going to be so beneficial to every day keeping balance, because it's for revitalizing, teaching you Qigong mindfulness, but without really any of the scientific heady explanations. Even the stuff that I got into right now, I'm not really going to get into it. It's really going to just help you understand how to connect to yourself. It's going to help you understand and feel. As you practice it, you're going to start feeling and understanding this concept of energy, even if it's completely nebulous to you right now. It's kind of out in the blue. But it's also going to really teach you and understand mindfulness, of being in the moment without trying to. It's going to help you also understand meditation without the effort of trying to meditate. Because the beauty of Qigong is, because you're focused on sensing whatever's happening with your body, your mind lets go, because you're no longer in your mind. You're using intention, and you just let go. And your mind centers while you just learn to sense and be present. And all of that's happening with physical movement, which is much easier for people to connect with in the beginning, and it makes it much less, there's almost no effort, and especially with 10 minutes of practice, not a problem. You can actually do it anywhere you want, even hide off somewhere. So So I really think this is going to be incredible for people. I know it's going to be incredible for people. But let's go back to the yoga, right? You had the question about the yoga practitioners. Some little tips about what they can do on their day-to-day to get a little bit of self-empowerment back.
Okay.
You know, how to get it all done still, but at the same time, take care of or find that balance.
Yes.
Because ultimately, before people hit the wall, right, they're looking for a sense of balance.
Yes.
Right, and they don't get it, they just keep on going, and then one day they're like, something happens, right?
Yes.
And it originally comes down to what you give value to in your life and whether or not you actually value yourself.
Okay.
It's very important to understand that because valuing yourself is the first aspect. And a lot of us will say, I value myself. I stick up for myself all the time. I always stand up for myself.
So the tips for today is value yourself.
That's one. Yeah.
Okay, and then continue.
And if you actually value yourself, you're going to make time for your mental well-being and emotional well-being as much as you do for everything else.
Good.
But not in the sense that most of us have learned. It's not in the escape, right? We all enjoy going out with friends. We all enjoy having a couple of drinks maybe, but actually I don't drink anymore myself.
Really?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, you're gonna save money. People are gonna save money on the expenses on drinks. That's nice.
They don't have to. They still enjoy life the same way, but it's a matter of understanding that your brain needs and your mind-body connection needs to be healed. It's your mind needs a chance to reset. The going out and socializing and drinking is not really a reset as much as it is a release. The reset happens when you're actually practicing something like Qigong or meditation or some sort of mindfulness practice for short periods, beginning with short periods of time in your day. That's the reset that your mind needs to reconnect to the body.
So if you want to go beyond drinking to be happy, so Qigong is a way to.
And Qigong is an incredible way, in a way that I would recommend to most people in the beginning because it's focused. It's taught. Well, there's very physical forms of Qigong. So if you love yoga, there's some physical forms out there that would also help you bridge that. But there's also a lot of the Qigong that we practice that you teach and that I teach through your system as well.
He's a great student, by the way. It's a great trainer. We even talking about having Mike train other people to be a Qigong instructor already. Yeah, exactly. So continue the journey.
Absolutely. And so these are actually calm, healing versions of Qigong. That you can do in your work clothes, you can do in whatever it is you're wearing, pajamas, whatever it is you're wearing, naked, whatever it is you're wearing at the time, birthday suit. And so that's the reason I say Qigong in the beginning is because it cuts through the effort of trying to understand meditation, because in the beginning meditation seems like it's a lot of work because how do you make your mind go quiet? So it's easier to connect to your body. And because you're not just in your mind, you're connecting with your body through Qigong, you're actually healing the mind-body connection. You're doing it all at the same time.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we will, I guess we can almost like wrap up for the day, right?
Yeah.
But I want to add something this to the end of the interview. So, well, with all the things that have gone through the interview, there are great knowledge in the way Mike presented the information. You might not understand completely now, but that they are actually worth your revisit the conversation we had today, and then you learn something to listen it more a few times. So another thing I want you to just be aware, with someone in engineer, actually a team leader in engineers, he had a very good, well-paid job that he has decided is not for him anymore. So we're so excited just following others. You decided there's another path for you.
Yeah, for me it was the joy it was to help others discover their potential.
Well, we get more engineers in.
It's interesting because that's what
actually
I love doing work. At work when I was managing people, it was about them and their potential.
Yeah.
That was a joy.
It was very interesting. I love engineers because I'm okay with them now. Mind you, what I said was before. Because I actually have a great student, followed diligently. It was a little bit challenging at the beginning. But then as they got it, they actually really, I could see that they're student for life. That means they become teachers of others. So we don't remain a student, we become the teacher and the healers. But we continue to learn though.
Oh, always.
Always.
Always
So,
learning.
so thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm learning from the people I help as much as they learn from me.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
You see, this is really, really beautiful the way he actually even conclude. The people come to our life with problems. They are teaching us something too. Okay, thank you very much. And then we thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And I mean, like I said, the Qigong course, the online Qigong course is going to come out in the next few weeks, by the end of June at the latest. And if you want to follow me right now, and
Yes.
I'll let you know when the
Yeah.
course comes out.
Yes.
You can follow me on Instagram at Mike_Phoenix Internal Arts,
Yes.
or on Facebook as Phoenix IAA. It's the name of my practice is Phoenix Internal Arts Academy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it encompasses a whole bunch of different things, which Qigong is one of the main pillars.
Exactly.
But it's also mindfulness and other
Yeah.
spiritual practices and the practical stuff as well,
Yeah.
to for your day-to-day wellness.
Yeah. So you always find Mike in the Pure Land International Qigong website, and then he is all over the place. You know, because he's very actively sharing his knowledge these days. So thank you.
No, my pleasure.
Okay,
My pleasure.
bye, and
Thank
see you in another episode very soon. Okay,
Definitely.
bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Okay.
Much love.